You're watching KSL Sports Live.
Thanks for staying up with us as we have the latest on the Utah Jazz and the Utah Hockey Club.
Yeah, one-on-one interviews from both teams on the way. Plus, we'll be in Vegas this week for Big 12 Media Days, and we're going to get you ready with interviews with Kalani Sitake and a few of the Utah football players because college football is just right around the corner.
Can't wait for that 120-degree heat on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We start, though, with the Sunday best, which was Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it's hard to beat the drama of a walk-off win. The Twins, they've smacked 42 hits against the Astros in 3 games, but it was the final hit on Sunday that mattered most.
Let's get to the highlights. We'll start in the Twin Cities. Twins hosting the Astros. A couple of great catches by Twins outfielders. First, it's Matt Wallner in left with a web gem. Later in the game, he was replaced by Manuel Margot, and he made a catch with his elbow. Yeah, take a closer look. The great defense set up this moment in the bottom of the 9th. Game tied at 2. Christian Vasquez.
A swing to fly ball to left field and deep. Back it goes onto the warning track at the wall. It is gone! It's over! Christian Vasquez walks it off! Twins win! Twins win!
And the Twins sweep the series. They're in the wild card position right now in July.
In Miami, the worst team in the National League, the Marlins hosting the worst team in the American League, the White Sox. First inning, Jazz Chisholm. He was once bitten by a radioactive spider. What a catch in center field to rob that hit. In the bottom of the 9th, Marlins down a run. Josh Bell represents the winning run, drives one deep to left. Tommy Pham trying to do the Jazz Chisholm impersonation, but that ball drops in and it ties up the game. 2 batters later, Jake Berger. That's a smash burger right there. Walk-off homer. Marlins, the winners, 7-4.
AAA baseball's pretty good. The rivalry continues. Yankees hosting the Red Sox, and Rafael Devers continues to own the Yankees. Scoreless in the game. Devers with the solo shot to center. We go to the 9th inning. His next at-bat, and he does it again. This time 423 feet to center. Red Sox take the series, and they've won 6 of 7. Well, the month of July is off to a hot start at America First Field. 2 games and 2 Real Salt Lake wins.
Yeah, the second of those 2 wins coming last night with RSL adding some new pages to those history books.
Ojeda slips it through to Luna. Space! Goal! Within the opening minutes, Matty Crooks. A rude welcome from the visitors from Atlanta.
Yeah, just 43 seconds into Saturday night's match, the 5th fastest goal in RSL history, but that was it for the first half. The second half, though, it was an all-out offensive assault. 4 second-half goals from 4 different players, capped by Diego Luna's 5th goal of the season, and for the 3rd time this season, RSL scores 5 goals in a win.
I think we're a really good team, but I think our greatest impediment to where we want to go is ourselves and the ego, right? You saw in the first half a bunch of players, after we score the goal, playing as individuals. When we're at our best, we're playing as a team, and what you saw in the second half. The ball's moving. People are making selfless runs beyond to pull the team back. The tempo is different, right? And so I think it's a little bit of all that.
Another win and another goal for MLS All-Star Chicho Arango. He scored in the 68th minute. Give RSL a 3-1 lead. It was his MLS-leading 17th goal of the season. He also ties Alvaro Saborio for most goals in a season by a Real Salt Lake player. And yes, there are still 12 MLS regular season matches remaining on the schedule. All right, the Utah Jazz have been very quiet since the draft. No free agent signings officially, no trades. Lauri Markkanen isn't going anywhere yet. In fact, one team interested in trading for him, according to The Athletic, was the Sacramento Kings. Well, they've pivoted and pulled off a sign and trade for DeMar DeRozan instead. The Jazz and Lauri cannot make a deal on a contract extension until August 6th, so stay tuned on that. Cody Williams, Isaiah Collier, and Kyle Filipowski. They were introduced to the media this week. They were practicing as well, getting ready for Summer League. Introduced the media on Tuesday, and they told us that the top priority for them right now that they're in Utah is it's time to get to work and see what they can accomplish.
It's here to get to work. Now really the draft, where you got drafted, where you came from, none of that really matters at this point. So now it's about, Utah basketball and really buying in every day and getting better. I think the biggest thing they told me was just continue to work hard, push myself to the next level. They say, I have an extra gear where I can work even harder.
Just doing whatever's necessary of me. I'm not going to try to force myself into any role that's not needed. I'm going to do what's required of me and just do the best job at that.
Well, tomorrow, those 3 draft picks will join a pretty loaded Summer League roster on the court for the first game of Summer League play. Among those players, Keontae George, Taylor Hendricks, and Walker Kessler. Players who already have a season or more of NBA experience, but who also see the value in participating this summer, improving their game on the floor and their leadership skills.
Trying to build a culture around here. First year, second year, play Summer League. It doesn't matter, how your year went. It's back to the drawing board going into the next season. So you got to find a way to build off of it. Summer League is a good way. Even if you have ups and downs.
We got a lot of young guys going into this year and going into Summer League, and I think that when you develop a young core that has chemistry, the sky's the limit.
I really wanted to play last year, so me being able to do it this year is going to be fun.
The lacrosse goal of the year was scored Saturday by Connor Fields of your Utah Archers between the legs for one of his 3 goals, helping the Archers defeat the Maryland Whipsnakes 16-11. The Premier Lacrosse League will be in Utah on August 16th and 17th, the final week of the regular season.
The Utah Hockey Club was the talk of the town last week in Vegas, making 2 first-round picks in the NHL draft and then surprising everyone with a blockbuster trade to acquire 2-time Stanley Cup champ defenseman Mikhail Sergachev. Sergachev spent the last 7 seasons with the Tampa Bay Lightning, where he emerged as one of the top defensemen in the league. He battled an injury-shortened season this past year, but he told me on Friday that he's ready to return to the ice here in Utah and be a leader on this young roster.
The trade was a shock, obviously. Then 20 minutes after I told my wife, she started looking at Utah and Salt Lake City, and because we love Switzerland. Like we go there all the time, mountains and stuff. So we looked at it and we're like, this is actually perfect because we get to see 4 seasons. It's like, hot, cold, and in between. So it's perfect. And for our kid too, he can go on the lawn and play outside because in Tampa it was obviously hot. But so we looked at it, we liked it, and we realized it's probably the right thing to do. To get traded to a team that needs a defenseman. I actually wanted to come here to look at the houses and meet the team and meet the boss and the coach. So I'm actually happy I did because it gives me a different perspective on the city and on the franchise, and it's how professional it is, and I'm impressed.
Do you get an idea of what the vision is here? Obviously, it's been an interesting offseason for this franchise.
Well, obviously the vision for any franchise or any team is to win the cup. And I think Utah Hockey Club is just starting its franchise, but at the same time, they're very ambitious and they want to win, and they'll invest their time and money into it, and they'll bring the fans and they'll make the experience for players as good as possible. So that's their plan. And we start making playoffs, start winning some games. We'll see. Well,
now you're here and you bring with you a lot of playoff experience, championship winning experience. How valuable is it for a young roster to have someone that they're skating with, that they're practicing with, that they're in the clubhouse with, that has that type of experience?
I don't know. I mean, for me, when I came in and we had Chris Kunitz that had like 4 cups at the time, for me it was like, wow. Like, this guy knows a lot, and he experienced a lot, won cups, played in championship teams, scored big goals. So it meant a lot for me to go and talk to him. And, obviously I'm not Chris Kunitz. I don't have 4 cups, and I'm a lot younger. But, for me, it was a great experience playing in Tampa and winning cups. So maybe I can pass down some knowledge about it to players. But most of all, I'm looking forward to play and actually show that I have something on the ice.
How would you describe your game? What do you bring to the ice?
A little bit of everything. Defense, offense, blocking shots. I haven't scored a lot of goals lately, so I have to start doing that. But mostly just I'm a two-way defenseman. Yeah.
October 8th, season opener, first game in Utah. There's still a lot of time between now and then. What do you hope to accomplish with this franchise between now and then to be ready for the season opener?
Well, to get stronger, obviously. I missed half a season last year, and with an injury, so I think I'm fully back now. I'm already skating. I started skating in May, so hoping just to get stronger and get in shape, because I feel like I'm going to play and probably going to play a lot. So.
Welcome to Utah, McHale. Let's check in on F1. A thrilling finish at the British Grand Prix. Came down to Max Verstappen, as it usually does, and Lewis Hamilton. And Hamilton holds on to win by 1.4 seconds. This is Hamilton's 9th British Grand Prix victory. That is a record. His 104th career victory, also a record. Holding his dad there, emotional, as you can see. His first victory since December of 2021. We have to take a quick timeout. More with Utah Hockey Club coming up.
Including a one-on-one conversation with head coach Andre Turney, who tells me about the growing pains that led him here to Utah today.
Win. That's all I care about. But me just, showing that, I'm capable of just being out there.
I sit down with new Utah Jazz point guard Isaiah Collier, and Diego Luna becomes the latest Utah pro athlete to respond to a snub with a career performance.
I like seeing them on the schedule.
Football is right around the corner. Kalani Sitake talks to us about that rivalry with the U next.
You're watching KSL Sports Live.
The Atlanta Braves probably won't catch the Phillies for the NL East title, but no one's going to want to play this team in the postseason. Currently the #1 wild card spot in the NL, and they showed the first-place Phillies just how explosive they can be. 3 home runs in the second inning alone. Adam Duvall, Jared Kelenic, and Matt Olson all go yard, and the Braves win this one 6-0.
Yeah, and I think, I wear it because of my son. It's all he watches. So I think it's, for him. And then you saw the celebration after. If you watch the show, it's the dad that does that dance. So I think it's, just a little fun thing.
Doesn't watch. I think Diego Luna just became everyone's favorite soccer player. A Bluey-loving dad who's not afraid to show it both on and off the field on Saturday with that sweet sweatshirt.
I'm not going to lie, Bluey's great. You should watch it even if your kids don't. The U.S. men's Olympic team decided that Diego Luna isn't good enough for their 18-man roster as they attempt to win gold in Paris.
Terrible decision. He was given that news Saturday morning, just hours before starting for Real Salt Lake against Atlanta United. He was also asked to be an alternate on the team or an injury replacement, but he declined that offer. And then after the snub, Luna took it out on the poor Atlanta United team. Luna assisted on 3 Real Salt Lake goals, and then in the 84th minute, he buried his 5th goal of the season. That's a pretty loud message to United States soccer, if you ask me.
I think decisions are made all around, soccer, different teams, different coaches. Nothing really can do about it. And I think other than that, I think I'm grateful to be here and to be able to stay here with RSL in this great run of form and continue to do stuff like this and hopefully more, right? So I'm happy, focused. I'm here with RSL, and I'm going to continue to work hard.
Now, Luna isn't the first pro athlete in Utah to respond to some type of snub with a legendary performance. The mailman, Karl Malone, wasn't named a starter during his prime for the 1990 NBA All-Star Game, so he took out his frustration on the poor Milwaukee Bucks. Jack Sikma had no chance. He dropped 61 points and did so with only taking 26 shots, 21 of 26 from the field, 19 of 23 from the line, all in just 33 minutes. The Jazz won the game 114-96. Even Jose Ortiz saw minutes in that game. They beat him so bad.
Well, how about this one? Former Jazz guard Darren Williams, he was bit by the snub bug a couple of times in his career. Beginning in 2007, left off the All-Star roster despite averaging 17.1 points and 9 assists per game. Then snubbed the next year. His response? He owned Chris Paul in a matchup against the Hornets. D. Will scoring 29 points on 11 of 13 shooting. He dished out 11 assists compared to Paul's 6 points and 6 assists. Paul was named an All-Star that year.
One of the best dunks in Jazz history right there. Chicago Sky rookie Angel Reese continues to impress in her rookie season. She recorded her 13th consecutive double-double. She had 17 points, 14 rebounds in her team's 84-71 loss to the Seattle Storm. With that, she breaks a WNBA record that was set by Candace Parker across the 2009 and 2010 seasons. Did the Utah Jazz get a steal in the first round of the NBA draft? Time will tell, but drafting Isaiah Collier at number 29 has the potential to be just that when you consider his resume. I had a chance to sit down with the rookie point guard to discuss that resume and what he hopes to accomplish in a Utah Jazz uniform.
Your resume, I mean, this is credible. I mean, you know your resume, but I want to read it out because it's impressive. Consensus #1 national recruit, 3-time Georgia state champion, Georgia Mr. Basketball 2023, 5-star recruit, McDonald's All-American, co-MVP of the McDonald's All-American game, Naismith Boys High School Player of the Year, Max Preps Player of the Year. The list goes on and on and on. How did you become that kind of a player at that age?
I was surrounded by, a lot of high-level guys, at a young age. So, I mean, it definitely, pushed me to, become better every single day. I feel like, we got one of the best public schools, in the country. So, I mean, just be able to, compete against them guys every single day and just get after it and just go at each other every day. I think that built me, going to a public school. I mean, I don't think that's, the norm now. But, I mean, for me, it was great just being at public school. I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
I mentioned all your accolades. They're amazing. But I can't imagine what it's been like to be you and have that kind of a spotlight when you're 16, 17, 18 years old. How much pressure was there, and how have you been able to process that in a healthy way?
There's no pressure at all. I mean, basketball is what I love to do and have fun with it. So, I mean, I don't see it as pressure when you love to do it. So, just having fun every single day and just enjoying it all.
So the expectations and all those things, no big deal?
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I know what I'm capable of. I just know what's going to happen.
What is it about this organization, the city, the state, that you feel like is a good fit for you professionally to launch your pro basketball career?
I mean, a lot of young players that can bring the best out of me. Get to see high-level guys surround, every single day. I feel like, that'll bring the best out of anybody, to be honest. Just compete at a high level. Some days might be better than others. Some days, might be, not so good. But, I mean, it's a learning process. And, I'm ready to, sit there and just learn every single day how to become a better player in this league and excel.
There's some good vets on this team, but it's a very young team as well. Is that kind of exciting to be able to come in here and to be playing with other players that are just in their first or second year? Do you see the opportunity there and fun? And you know a lot of these guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, especially just coming up, young, for sure. I mean, just, be able to just learn from each other as well. We might, have some good days, some might have bad days, but we all coming up, together. So, I mean, that's definitely going to be great.
What are your rookie season goals?
Win. I mean, that's all I care about. But me just, showing, I'm capable of just being out there, that I deserve to be out there and, just competing. So, I mean, it's simple as that.
First impressions of Utah, Salt Lake City?
I mean, it's great. It's different for sure. I'm from Atlanta, went to L.A., but, came to Utah. I mean, it's pretty chill. I mean, I love it so far for sure.
Good. Last question for you. We saw your family here today, and I can't imagine what a thrill this has to be for them. How much of an impact, how important have they been in this process for you? Because, you can't do it alone.
Yeah, I mean, family, sacrificed so much for me. So, I mean, I'm here to, just show that, I belong here. And I know, they got my back and, they're going to keep pushing me, through good and bad, and they're always going to be there. So, I mean, it's been a great process just having them along the way and just enjoying it all.
Great. New player. I'm excited to see him on the court for the Jazz this year.
Yeah, especially the 29 pick.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think he's going to be a lot better than number 29 for sure.
Well, for the first time in 14 years, we live in a world where both BYU and Utah are preparing during the offseason to compete in the same conference in college football.
I don't think that'll really sink in until they're on the field coming up in November. And the hype for this first season together in the Big 12 took its first big step this week.
Yeah, the Big 12 preseason media poll released, and would you take a look at that? Utah, with 20 first-place votes, were picked to finish first. Kansas State had 19 first-place votes, came in a close second. Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Arizona all receiving first-place votes as well. They round out the top 5. And what about the Cougars? Well, not a lot of faith in them from the media this season. Picked to finish 13th out of 16 teams, just ahead of Cincinnati, Houston, and Arizona State.
And a trio of Utes were also given all Big 12 preseason honors. Tight end Brant Keithy, back from injury, was voted all-conference. On the offensive side of the ball, on defense, defensive tackle Junior Tafuna earned recognition, and Jack Bomeister was voted in as all-conference Hunter.
For the Cougars, just one player receiving all Big 12 recognition this preseason. That's defensive lineman Tyler Batty. Now, both the Utes and Cougars will be in Las Vegas Tuesday and Wednesday for Big 12 Media Days. KSL Sports will be there as well. We'll be bringing you our exclusive conversations with the teams right here on KSL 5.
Throws behind him, it is caught for the touchdown! Johnson's going to take a shot, he's got Reed! Touchdown! It's caught! Andrew George! And it's blocked! It's blocked!
Saturday, November 9th, the rivalry renewed at Rice-Eccles Stadium, a rivalry that deserves to be played on an annual basis within the competition of conference play, and that's the way Kalani Sitake wants it to be. Coach Kalani knows this rivalry from pretty much every possible angle. He grew up cheering for it as a fan. He played in it. He coached on both sides of this rivalry. You can't convince him otherwise that this rivalry is the premier matchup in the Big 12. And with Big 12 Media Days coming up this week, Kalani told us it feels right to be back in that same conference with the U.
It just makes sense. It makes sense for them to be on our schedule and for us to play that game every year. It doesn't really matter when the game is. I like seeing them on the schedule. I have tons of respect for the University of Utah and the football team and their fans. And so I like that. I just like that game. I loved it when I was a fan. Loved it when I was a player and playing against my older brother when he was at the U. And then I loved it as an assistant coach, like working with Kyle and being on that side. And then I still love it as a head coach. So it just makes a lot of sense. I know that it gets heated and there's a lot of excitement around it and energy, but it just makes sense.
Fans in the building in the middle of summer, what's better than that?
Playing in front of Utah, new franchise, it was incredible.
It was really cool to I guess hear a big cheer when my name was called. Looks like we're going to have some of the best fans in the league.
Yes, you will. The first off season for the Utah Hockey Club has been a smashing success.
Yeah, the move to Utah, the season ticket deposits, the draft, more recently, the trade for two-time Cup champion defenseman Mikhail Sergachev.
That's right. GM Bill Armstrong was given the green light to do whatever he felt was needed to help this team take the next step. He was aggressive in the draft, aggressive in the pursuit of Sergachev and others, and also took advantage of the green light to spend money in free agency while still sticking to the plan of a rebuild that began in Arizona 4 years ago.
I think it's been very successful because we followed the plan. We were smart in free agency in the sense that most of our free agency work was done at the draft where we made the trades, and we put in players that are in place that they match our age of our team and they allow us to move forward. So when our team is good, they're at a good age to help us get over the top. And there's not many times that you can pull off two trades. And draft two first-rounders and a boatload of other guys. It's pretty exciting times for our organization.
All right, let's head back to the pitch. The Utah Royals taking on the Seattle Reign in their first game since Amy Rodriguez was fired. Scoreless into the 67th minute, and what a play by rookie Allie Sentner. Steals the ball away, drills it home for her team-leading third goal of the season. The Reign, they would get one of their own, though, and the game ends in a 1-1 draw.
Up next, we'll check in with Utah football as Big 12 Media Days approach.
Yeah, several Utes were at the Athletes for Life camp out in Roseville. Why this camp is so important to them? They'll answer that coming up.
Tractors and golf, that's what America does. John Deere Classic, final round on the PGA Tour. Shot of the day comes from Denny McCarthy on hole 13 from 76 feet. The perfect chip onto the green finds the cup for a birdie. The story at the John Deere was Davis Thompson. First hole 44 feet away on a difficult read. Sinks the birdie putt. He finished 28 under. A new John Deere Classic record. A par on 18 secures the victory. And Thompson, look, he's overcome with emotion as he earns his first PGA Tour victory and a spot in both the Open Championship and the 2025 Masters.
I mean, just seeing my wife, it just means a lot. I love her so much and I'm so thankful that she was able to make it. And yeah, I mean, I just tried to stay present all day, and when that putt finally went in, it's just a big sigh of relief.
Well, big news this week for Utah football. On Monday, Utah Athletics Director Mark Harlan announced the succession plan for whenever Kyle Whittingham decides to step down as head coach. Harlan officially designating defensive coordinator Morgan Scalley as the head coach in waiting. He'll be entering his 17th season on Utah's coaching staff this fall. You know, Athletes for Life is an organization that was started by former Utah punter Hank Mondaka, a camp that uses sports to help motivate Indigenous students in the classroom and in life.
In 2023, they held their first camp on the Ute Reservation in Roosevelt, and the camp returned there this year.
With only 7 Native American athletes last year, this year that number more than doubled to 20. They were also joined by several athletes from nearby Union High School. And day 2 of that camp, over 25 members of the Utah football team came out to help coach and run drills. Teo Johnson, Mackay Bernard, Junior Tafua, Isaac Wilson were just a few that made that trip. They were giving recognition to a community that is often overlooked.
We get to work with the Utes. You know, that's a name that we bear and that we get to carry around, and that you know, that we carry with pride, and this is where it originated from, and these are the kids who are the future youths.
People in California, they got camps every single week, every single day. Guys out here, you don't get camps every single day. You get one maybe a year. You know, you don't get many, so it's good to come back, you know, show the people that they're still loved, you know, that we are here for.
The University of Utah and its football and basketball program are very popular here, and our people have nothing but good things to say about the school and the whole community.
We told you earlier about the Big 12 media poll. The Utes picked to win the Big 12 in their first year in the conference, which would mean not only a spot in the new 12-team playoff, but a top 4 seed and first-round bye. How are the players taking in all of that hype? We had a chance to ask them at the camp.
It's the same Utah football that has been for the past 20 years, you know. We're going to work hard. We've been working hard this offseason, grinding, physicality, growing the family culture, you know.
It feels different from other years, I would say, just as, you know, we're in a different conference now. We're preparing for different teams, we're preparing for different people. You know, rules have changed now, so it's like, it's just a different feeling, a different vibe. Just going into season as we're going into the next few months, you know, get into fall camp and all that. It's just a lot of things that are going well right now.
Andre Turney took over as the head coach for the Arizona Coyotes in 2021, a year in which GM Bill Armstrong said the Coyotes had the worst roster in the NHL. Now, Turney, who spent this offseason with Team Canada at Worlds, leads this team to a new city, a new fan base, where he feels the Utah Hockey Club is very close to becoming a contender in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I had a little bit of different path than everybody else. I won the World Championship for a month. So on top of the moving and the work has to be done, there were a month where I was with Team Canada. So it was pretty busy, but it was great. I think every time we've been here in Salt Lake, before I went to World and after, and here at the Dev Camp, it's been awesome. So the organization's great. Everything's moving forward. The draft was great. Like Ryan and Bill talk about, all the process during the draft was great. The results were great, so we're excited.
Bill said in the presser just now that you absorbed a lot of pain over the last few years going through the process of helping build and develop these players. Are you pretty excited about where you're at? Is the pain worth it where you're at now?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I knew, and Bill been transparent about the plan all the way through. You know, the plan was to retool the first 2 years, the third year to make a step and play our young player, and then the fourth year starting to improve the team and looking forward for the future to be a contender. So the plan. We respect the plan since the beginning. There will be still pain, will be still growing pain, but we're more equipped to face those battles.
Well, one of the big additions, obviously, Mikhail Sergachev. How valuable is it, though, not only to have that on the ice, but to have someone with the playoff experience that he has and championship experience that he has on your roster?
Yeah, and the age, you know, is a perfect age for us. He's 26, same age than Kels. If you look at our roster, it's a pretty young roster, so it's not like Bill explained, we got a guy at the end of his career, and he will not be at his peak when the rest of the team will be. So I think it's pretty exciting. And like you mentioned, the quality of player he is, but as well the experience he had, and the leader he's been around, and the championship run, and a little bit of everything. Just example his injury last year. That's adversity where in life sometimes when you put the knee down, you need to get up and overcome the adversity. I think the fact he went over all those steps, will help our young guys, will help our young team, and will bring a lot in our locker room.
October 8th can't come soon enough.
Yeah, you're right. And the coach always looked forward to the start of the camp. Where I'm looking forward to have all the boys here in Salt Lake. I think most of the guys will arrive somewhere in August, and maybe a few will arrive after Labor Day, but most of them will be there early. So looking forward to have the boys around and start to get going.
We're all looking forward to that. The Utah Hockey Club has made some great additions, but it was also an offseason priority to keep their own free agents too. One of those free agents was defenseman Sean Dursey. He and the club came to agreement on a 4-year contract, securing an important piece of thetheir future.
Whenever that side of the game comes around, I usually don't like to hang out around it. As a player, it's not too fun, and it's a situation where it's the business. You're not playing for that. So I think I'm glad it's done. I'm glad I'll be here for the next 4 years, and I'm really happy I could just focus on hockey now. Start off just by thanking Ryan and Ashley Smith, Chris Armstrong, Bill Armstrong, David Ludwig, and obviously the coaching staff for kind of having that faith in me, to give me that 4-year deal and believe that we're building something together.
Now you have 2 veteran defensemen coming on board, 3 veteran defensemen, but 2 with Stanley Cups, and that kind of has got to take some of the pressure off you.
To have them in that experience is huge. I talked to Sergei yesterday a little bit. He's pumped to be coming here and, pumped to be playing together. So it's exciting, obviously. It's a moment where you want to have proven winners on your team. Like I said before, the experience is invaluable, and I think it's going to be important for us to have them and to be playing with them. It's cool. I've been in a new city now 3 times in my career, so I've gotten the chance to explore a couple new places, and to know that this will be home for the next 4 years is exciting for myself, exciting for my family.
All right, with just a month until the beginning of fall camp, the Utah State football program was rocked with change at the top of the coaching staff this week.
Yeah, Athletic Director Diana Sabo announced Tuesday that Blake Anderson is being relieved of his duties as the Aggies' head football coach. The decision to fire Anderson came after what the school calls a thorough investigation of alleged noncompliance with university policies for actions taken in the spring of 2023. In a statement, the school stated that Anderson fell short in the, quote, full and timely reporting of disclosures of sexual misconduct, including domestic violence. Defensive coordinator Nate Dreiling will serve as interim head coach.
Associate Vice President and Deputy Athletic Director Jerry Bovee was also fired. He issued a statement Sunday defending his record, saying in part that he understands he was terminated based on an inconclusive and untimely review of an incident that took place more than a year ago in April of 2023 while he was interim athletic director. The USU alum maintains that he and 2 other USU employees did in fact report the incident to the USU Office of Equity, and he fully intends to file a grievance. You can read that entire statement at KSLSports.com. We'll be right back.
The Pirates have hit 7 home runs. They literally ran out of fireworks.
Friday, July 5th, the day the Pirates ran out of fireworks at PNC Park. They hit 7 homers, and by the 7th homer of the game, they had no more fireworks to the fans, JJ, on 4th of July weekend.
Come on, get a budget, man.